Hello, beautiful boss babes. Are you ready to chase life with Kelly? Well, I'm your host, Kelly Chase, and I'm so excited you're here. We are going to talk about all things love, dating, relationships, money mindset. We're going to dive deep into self-love, worthiness. I am going to bring on some incredibly empowering guests. We're going to have fun, we're going to laugh, and perhaps we're even going to shed some tears together. I am here to empower you, inspire you, and motivate you to create the life you crave. I am so excited for today's episode. Let's dive in. Yay! Hi, babes. How are you? I know we're kicking off 2023. With positivity, always positivity. No, I'm just kidding. We can't always be positive all the time. But we can lean into it and we can learn tools and concepts and methods to help bring us to positive thoughts and feelings and behaviors faster. So I hope that today's episode, we may get a little bit of that.
Most definitely. I agree.
Yes.
2023, here we are.
Yes. My new friend, Bianca, we have been literally we just have a handful of mutual friends and we've run into each other a handful of times with just like a Christmas party and things like that. And so I'm going to bring you onto the show. Come on, Bianca.
Thank you for having me, Kelly. This is so awesome that I did run into someone as special as you. I know you were on that reality show and we ran in at 5 paces that one time.
Yes.
And we were just there grooving to the live band. And I'm like, she is just so chill. I love the way she's just so laid back. And then we ran in again. And I was like, okay, the universe is connecting us for some reason. Absolutely. And you have this awesome podcast. So I'm like, this is great to share and spread some light on, we can't always be positive. Exactly. So that's why, when we're feeling down, or we're going through a stage of that valley, how are we going to get out of that and rise above it? So I'm glad we're meeting today so we can touch a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so funny. She mentioned 5 paces and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, that's right. That is one of the time that we met. I was 6 vodka deep. I didn't not remember that. I was just thinking we had met before. Had we met before that?
We have. Yeah.
Okay,
it was running and I'm like, okay,
That was it.
I'm let's just start this journey together.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so funny. I was like, I know I knew, you looked familiar that night. And I was like, I know her, but yeah, that's so funny. But yeah, 5 paces is so that is one of the oldest bars in Buckhead. If you're familiar with Atlanta, Buckhead is North Atlanta. And I actually worked there back in 2011. I was a bartender, a good old 5P. So if you're an Atlanta listener, you know. And
you got to go visit. If you're in Atlanta, Buckhead, you have to go. You'll have a great time and they have their different rooms and, you're bound to find an area that you'll kind of vibe.
Absolutely. It's a dive bar. I mean, literally it's been there since 1975 or something. It's super, super old. But it's absolutely amazing and so much history there. But anyways, so Bianca, so I mean, listeners, I want y'all to just really sink into this conversation. It's gonna be just girl talk. Obviously, all of my episodes are pretty conversational and girl talkish. But yeah, so enjoy the ride, enjoy the show today. Bianca, I want to. Granted, literally, it's only been the last few months that we've had a couple of run-ins, so I don't even know Bianca that well. So I feel like I'm gonna get we're on a friend date right now. I'd love to hear more about your story. I know that you are a mom. You are a mother and you have a
mom
channel. A mom of 2. Yeah, a single mom, right?
Yes. I actually not single. A lot of people think I'm single because I really don't like to put my relationship out there like that.
Okay.
Because it means so much to me. So my name is Bianca. Nice to meet everybody. I do have a blog and a YouTube, Sweet Mama Lifestyle, and I'm an author, published author. So I have 3 books published, and of course I'm a mom of 2. So right now my fiance, he's in Germany. So he's in the army. Yeah, he's in Germany right now. So pretty much I am playing the role of a single mom, and I'm loving it because it's empowering.
Yeah.
So, you know, women, yes, you can do it. You know, when there's a will, there's a way. And that's definitely one thing I want to pass on to my kids is willpower, because you have to have that in life, you know. So just a little about me, Kelly. Thank you for having me first off on your show today. So I am a small town girl. I'm from Texas, and I was in choir, volleyball, and softball growing up. I've always loved writing. So that's what got me into like publishing my books, and they're self-improvement books, being that that is my passion, is self-improvement, because I'm not perfect, right? I've had a lot of mistakes that came up in life. You know, now I'm in, you know, my early 30s. And it's made me who I am today. So what led me to my self-love journey was I had came out of a toxic relationship, right? Let me say it again. It was a toxic relationship. He was obsessed with me. It got to the point of, you know, him being like, trying to get physical with me, like abusive. Right there, that was, sorry, you know. So at first, I was a little bit, how can I say this? So the man was obsessed with me, and he didn't get that it was over, right? So after being treated wrong by a man, you have the utmost appreciation for the man that treats you right, right? So just to set the record straight, you know, there is men out there still that, you know, that are respectful, that are kind, God-fearing men, gentlemen out there, right? So love is blind, and love is blind, right? Yeah. Because these, right? Of course, love is blind. You know, so it's funny that I say that, but it's true because, you know, no matter the race or the color or the religion, you know, it has nothing to do with finding love, you know, because I found it with someone that isn't Hispanic. So we're a biracial couple, you know, and I'm fortunate to have met someone after that toxic relationship. But I felt like I dodged a bullet from that toxic relationship. I was sad at first, but it really made me more of a woman. Like, you know, yes, we're human. We go through, you know, things that can damper our relationship with ourselves. Like, what did I do? You know what I mean? Like, you kind of almost like, yeah, you like start blaming yourself. But really, I feel like when you like look at yourself in the mirror, and that's the person you're fighting, is the person in the mirror. Like, how am I going to learn from this? Is this going to make or break me? Right? Absolutely. So that like made me the person. Like, I'm still a work in progress. We all are, but like it made me who I am today.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just a little bit about my little background.
Yeah. When you were going through that, I mean, like you said, of course you were sad because there's someone, you know, I mean, I can resonate in multiple ways to that story too. I had some abusive, assault-ish type of stuff that happened many moons ago. And, you know, it was sad. I was constantly, you know, I would say, let's put it this way. I was in an abusive relationship, and my definition of like what that means and like what that not means, but like the toxicity that comes from that is like, you keep going back to that person. And it's like, why do you keep going back to that person? Why do you keep putting up with it and things like that? And it's like, as soon as you start to see like an emotional, verbal type of something that makes your gut and your mind be like, that's not okay. You know, we start making the excuses. But that's your red flag, right? And then the physical, you know, most likely follows. And that is what happened with mine as well. And yeah, I mean, it was crazy with mine, but, you know, I found myself, you know, making the excuses and like, oh, he was just drunk or he was just upset or blah, 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 you know, like whatever it was. And, because the hope and the story that you have in your mind from the person that you met, you know, that loving, amazing, fun, friendly, humorous person that you first met, where did they go? And it's like, you want them to come back and you have all this hope that they'll come back and that they're a different person, you know, they're like, wait, that's not the person I met. Or this isn't the person that I met. And so you're just like holding on to that. And you think that's where that sadness and like grief and disappointment and everything comes from. And maybe even like resentment or guilt and shame within yourself too. Cause it's like, how did I get into this like all together, you know?
And I'm totally with you because you know, when you go through that journey and it's like you almost can't talk to anybody, you feel like, you know, okay, I'm going to get through this. And you keep going back to feel like there's something to be fixed, right? When really they kind of have to fix it with themselves. And you kind of just have to like wash your hands and be like, you know, written, you know, and wish them the best, you know, that you still have story, you know, to write. And the hard part is letting go. But the first step to brighter days is saying goodbye. You know, like, and that's the hardest. But once you do that, you're just relieved. You're just boom on another level. Absolutely. You know, so
yeah. Was it? I mean, you said like within the first time that of this relationship becoming physical, you were like, Was it?
It was like about one time, like he literally tried to like, you know, put his hands on me, like, you know, and you know, I was like, you know, there was some foul language, of course, but I wasn't brought up that way. You know, like my dad is very loving to me and, you know, I have a great relationship with my dad and, you know, he showed me what love is. Yeah. So I knew that that's not how I was supposed to be treated by a man that respects me and says they love me. Right. So that right there, you know, humility so long in a relationship, you know, and I judge a person by their character. Cause like you were saying, was it the alcohol? Was it this, you know, true colors always come out, you know, at some point. You could hide yourself for so long, but then the true colors are going to come out.
Absolutely.
And that's when it's just like, okay, am I going to be able to live with this person or, you know, or not? Yeah. You know, you kind of have to like, it's kind of like what you're going to give and what you're going to take.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So after that relationship ended, what did you do? I mean, what was that self-love journey? How was dating afterwards? Did you date pretty quickly? How soon after that relationship did you meet your now fiance? Tell us a little bit.
So it took me a while, Kelly. You know, it did. It took me about 4 years, you know, of just self-reflecting, kind of like the discovery phase. Like, what do I like in a partner? What am I going to accept? Mm-hmm. And what can I like, you know, when you're with someone, it's kind of like you're not alone. Of course you're not alone. You know, when you're alone, you go fast, but when you're together in it with somebody, you go far.
Yeah.
So when I met, so of course I'm from Texas, like I said, so, I wasn't going to go to this pool part. The year that I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, it was just for work. And it was in 2016 in the summer. So I was actually invited to this pool party, you know, in our complex. And he was a DJ at the time. So I was it. My girlfriend's like, come on, you know, because we were working all week, and she's like, come on, you know, that's what the weekend's for, to just like relax and just, let's go and reset the pool. Let's go just lay out. So after she begged me, I was like, okay, Christina, let's go. I went, and it's fate. I do believe in fate, because if I wouldn't have went to that pool, I wouldn't have met my now fiance.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. Mm-hmm.
And so, long story short, fast forward to now, we have 2 kids. We are engaged, because with the COVID, we didn't get to get married. But I feel like, marriage, it's a process. You don't have to like rush it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel like, I'm like, I'm okay. I'm happy. We're happy. Our family's well taken care of. We're good.
Yeah.
Like, that's what matters. So yeah, it took me a good while. I would say like 4.5 years to actually like be able to love again. Yeah. Because first I had to love myself and accept the fact that that wasn't my fault. Mm-hmm. That I was dealing with that toxic relationship. Right. And the point that you actually like said goodbye, like you too, Kelly, the point that you said like bye, that shows how much you love yourself.
Right.
To have the power to do that. Yeah. Because it takes a lot of guts.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, granted, my situation, I mean, yes, I was saying goodbye, but I would say that my parents made me say goodbye. Let's put it that way. It was definitely I just love people. I care about them, and wanting to see that they were the person I met and not this other version that I was growing to now know. Not now, but 15 years ago now. So it was, but my parents were like, what are you doing? Like, this is not healthy. It's toxic. It's abusive. This has to end. So yeah, I mean, that was definitely a wild experience for me. But yeah, so I went to one therapy session and back then, and it didn't land. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And that's, a podcast for another time. But there was like a whole, I mean, for my first, from 22 to 33 years of age, I was just in the doing. I was do, go, go, go. I worked multiple jobs, I only had, I want to say 2 longer term boyfriends during that time. Everything else was just me, falling in lust with people and dating recklessly and sleeping recklessly, making out with anybody, that kind of thing. And, but so at 33 years old was when, 32, 33 was when my whole real self-love journey began. And, that's the thing. It's like, we have to recognize, sometimes that it isn't immediate. Like, we fall into this, if we don't address something immediately, we're going to avoid it. That's what that's what we do. That's why we're all jacked up and our mental health is fucking through the roof, because we're all avoiding things and we're pushing it down and we're running on autopilot and we're in constant burnout. And it's affecting our health, physical health. It's affecting our nutritional health, our mental health, everything, so it's like, but that's what I did. And that's, granted, these last 4.5, 5 years have been beautiful for me to work through and tap into and heal a lot of the stories and a lot of the pains that came from that situation 15 years ago. It gets wild.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, you're doing great. I do want to remind you, you're strong, you're beautiful, you're doing great.
Thank you.
And you always need that, someone to encourage you and let you know how far you've come.
Yeah.
Because we're all self-improving. We're all a work in progress. Nobody's perfect. They didn't write a handbook about how to live life. Life is a gift.
Yeah.
And we're given the life we have, and we have choices. That's the beautiful thing about it. Absolutely. What do you want to do with your life? Do you want to give it all to your career? Do you want to travel the world? Do you, so that is the beautiful thing about discovering who you are. Yeah. And, that gets me to something that you said right now about, you get to a point where you start accepting things, right? So when you're with somebody, and this is what I've learned from being in a relationship with the father of my children and my fiance, like, you know, when you're with somebody, you don't want to be with somebody that's going to drain you. And I noticed that in that toxic relationship, it was draining me mentally. It was draining me emotionally, right? I knew that that's not what I wanted. That wasn't love. That wasn't healthy, right? You want someone that's going to fuel you, like bring life into you, right? And like give you energy to be like, yeah, like I'm going to do this, you know? And so that is what I learned. That was like literally from that toxic relationship. That's what made me learn, you know, you attract what you are. So like things that we're putting in your head, like things that you tell your mind starts believing.
Totally. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Which all comes to law of attraction, like how you speak to yourself, you know, and how you are when no one's looking. Because social media does such a great job at like painting this pretty picture of like how a relationship's supposed to be and, you know, how your life is supposed to be. Like in America, we work like 9 to 5, you know, and 8 to 5. It depends, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays, like, you know, and literally you work like 12, like you're gone from your home like 12 hours a day. Then you finally get home after the long day and you're like, man, I'm tired. Like, I just want to go to sleep. Yeah. And then, you know, then you have to get up and do it all over again. So it's like, you're right. How you said you never get that time for yourself to like, you know, mentally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That go, do total masculine energy driven society is what we are in.
And that gets me to also what I've learned is when you're in love with somebody, they're not going to love you in all the ways. Feel that you feel that void, like you feel like you need to be fulfilled, right? That's where self-love comes into play. You see what I'm saying? What can you do for yourself to fully be like feel loved and appreciate what you have to do on a daily, what you go through, right? What's helped me personally, and everybody, you know, do whatever it is makes you happy and like fulfills you. But what's helped me is like my faith journey, like my spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And, you know, knowing that he can't love me in some ways that I feel like empty, I have to be the one to like fill my cup up.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. What are some of those ways that maybe you are aware that you have to cultivate that, you know, feeling of completion, wholeness, whatever I'm trying to say.
Right. To feel like,
to feel fulfilled,
to feel happy. Yeah, to really feel happy. Because you could say you're happy, but then there's something missing. You're like, what is it? So what I really, and it's helped me, like, because I say we're all a work in progress. You know, we're all still writing our story. And what's helped me is like growing in faith that, you know, I need to, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we can only plan for, you know, prepare for the best, plan for the worst, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go. Like just having faith, like being positive. Sometimes it may be hard with all the negative news and everything. That's why sometimes I silence my phone. That's something that's helped minimizing my time on social media. You know, that's tremendously helped a lot. Like I'm literally only on my social media 15 minutes a day.
That's awesome.
Because I get the alert like on my phone. Like
yeah. I have mine set, I think, to like 45 minutes is my time limit. So
you know, and then it'll tell you, oh, you have 5 minutes coming up, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, and then it's up to you. Like I said, that's the blessing of humans. We have choices. So then you get, oh, do you want to end your time, or you want to increase it 15 minutes, or you want to, you know, just avoid, you know, your 45 and just go the rest of the day with being on social media.
Yeah.
And just growing a stronger walk with God, because I'm a God-fearing woman. So that whatever, you know, God, you pray to, everybody, I'm talking to everyone, you know, getting a stronger relationship with him, you know, or a higher power, I would say, you know, and that's helped a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
What do you do? Like when you say you've grown your relationship with your spirituality and God, what is it that you are doing to grow that? What are your practices every day?
You know, I wake up in the morning before I even get on my phone. I go that way, Kelly. Before I even get on my phone, my daughter, I do some self-reflecting. I do like, you know, a moment of mindfulness, you know, and that's how I start my day.
I love that.
You know, which really helps to get your mind on the right track. And then you start your day with intention. That's another thing that I've learned through therapy. Through therapy, you can't learn it on your own. Khaleesi, you have to go over here, baby, because I don't want you on the camera. Go over here, baby.
It's okay.
Part out.
She's okay.
So starting my first 15 minutes of the day with mindfulness, you know, and then starting it with intention. What is my intention today? Like today, I know it's a Saturday. My intention is to organize my home. And that's how I started my day. I'm going to organize, get this home together, you know, and cleanliness. That is my intention today. Focus on strictly that.
Yeah.
You know, then you feel fulfilled.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What are some other things? You said you're going to therapy. Was therapy something that you started after that experience that you had, or was that something that has always been a part of your life?
Yes, I definitely started it after all of that had happened, because like I said, it was like, at first I was sad, but then I realized I dodged a bullet. And I was like, whoa, this was just part of my journey. This I needed to go through this to become, you know, who I am today.
Yeah.
You know, and accepting that I'm not perfect. I went through a phase where like you want to just be like perfect and like make people think like your life is so perfect, and you know, because that is how social media has painted it to be. And that is not the truth. Like, no relationship's perfect. Yes, me and my fiance, we're a work in progress. Our love story is still being written. You know, we still have memories, and you know, we have phases. All relationships go through that, because it is true. You go through a honeymoon phase in a relationship, and then the real work starts.
Yeah. Yeah. What has been your, I guess, like, to offer a piece of advice to our listeners as far as like maintaining and cultivating your current relationship? Like, what is that, you know, is there a practice that you guys do, or is there one thing that, you know, communication or whatever, like, is there something that the both of you do to help support one another in your growth individually, but also collectively as a relationship?
Thank you for asking, Kelly, because I feel like this is going to be great for your listeners that are tuning in. To never go to bed upset with one another. Like, if something's bothering you, you don't let it surpass that day. By the end of the day, make sure you let your you know, your thoughts, your feelings be known. And also, communication is so big. A lot of things can get misinterpreted with text.
Yeah.
So it's different when we're actually talking face to face, you know, versus if you send a text and it's like exclamation, like, why are you yelling at me? Like,
right.
How that can come off.
Yeah, for sure.
So communication and honesty, like being honest, because you can't go wrong if it, like I always say, like, whatever's hidden will always come to light. So it's good to just be honest and be transparent with the person that you want to live life with and do life with. Yeah. You know, because they're the ones that are going to be in your corner, and that are going to, if they're really writing for you, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to be there for you, you know, through the ups, through the downs, and they're going to accept you, you know, for who you are, right? And just want to make you a better person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Has there been, in the relationship that you're in now, you know, are there, how do you, let me see how to word this, like, how do you overcome fear of being honest and communicating what you're really feeling and thinking and the emotions that are going on within you? Because I know that fear is what I feel like holds a lot of us back from properly communicating our needs and our wants and our expectations and our desires. And also, you know, just because we're afraid, like, well, what if I say something that makes them mad or disappoints them or makes them want to leave me or something like that? So how do you work through the fears that come up? Because we're all human. We all have them. We go through them.
And that's such a great question, because in the discovery journey, before I met, you know, the relationship that I'm in now, it was fear of letting the person that I like love and like actually like be with and that knows me, right? Letting them in, like letting my wall down. Like, you have to let your wall down. Like, that's how you're going to be accepted. Because if you're going to continue to put up this facade and, you know, act like it's always like that, no, like, it all starts with accepting the fact that you have to let your wall down, that you have to break that barrier, and you have to be transparent, because it has to come from both ways, right? You go through phases in relationships, especially when children are involved, because we're a whole different dynamic now that we have kids.
Right.
You know, it's a whole different ball game. And it also takes more work. You're more tired. Like that's for a different day. We'll have that conversation. But yes, it's about being kind to one another, being loving. And it's hard sometimes to be loving because you have stuff going on at work, or, you know, but you need to know that that person is like going to be on your side. Like, they're in your corner and they want the best for you. So uplifting one another is also so important. Because like you were saying, like, how do you fight that fear? You fight that fear by letting down the wall. And guess what? If they're not going to accept you, then they don't deserve you.
Right. Clap, clap. That's right.
Okay, snap for the truth.
It's so true. I was just about a week or so ago, I was texting with a friend who was very just upset about a particular situation. And I was like, you know, she was going back, like rethinking and overanalyzing, you know, what I could have said, what I should have said, that kind of thing. And I was like, first of all, let me recognize that whatever you said or didn't say, or whatever you said, you did nothing wrong, you said nothing wrong, anything like that. Because it was like, you know, we have this conversation and then he's not, like, I haven't heard from him, kind of thing. And I was like, well, let's first and foremost recognize that you did nothing wrong, you said nothing wrong, and the right guy is still going to reach out. So let's just end it there, you know? So it's his loss if he doesn't, like, if he got scared or freaked out or whatever with what you said, or, you know, like, the right guy is going to just want to like sit and listen to everything that you say, like, you know.
That is how you know that that person is for you, because everybody has their person. Now, also, Kelly, to answer your question, knowing that person's love language. We all have different love languages. His love language is service. My love language is, you know, affirmations, like, you know, that. So just knowing that there's, I believe, 5 main love languages.
Yes.
So knowing the person that you're with, that they're not the same person, that you're not going to have the same emotions and feelings towards things. But when you guys collaborate and like come together, it's like, it should be like a glue. Like, you should come together. You should never force it. If you have to force it, then something's not right. You know what I mean? Either one's not fully in, or maybe that person's not right for you. But it should feel natural. Like when I first met him, I didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel like I had to be some different person. You know, yeah, like, you just feel yourself. You discover that in your self-love journey. And my passion is self-improvement. So I'm always trying to figure out new ways of how I can fix myself, you know, because that reflects on the person you're with. They say you're a product of your environment. So I do believe, like, he's very, like, he has his own like career and all of that. And I do. I want him to blossom in his individuality. Like, I love that. And he lets me do me. And he loves that. That's why you probably thought I was single, because I don't want to share it with the world.
Well, also, I guess he's in a different country, so you're not with him. Like, you're not physically able to be with him. So.
Yeah. You know, but because a lot of people don't see that, you know, but it's because that's what I'm saying. The ones that go and they share their life like online and all that, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Totally.
They may be painting some, oh, this is our perfect life, you know, and I'm just like, So
that's respectful. Really, because, I mean, there's, you know, to each their own, like everyone's going to be different in that regard. And, you know, I think that that's a beautiful thing that you have that honor and respect for your relationship, you know, and that you want to keep that private and separate and everything too, you know, like, I mean, me being a quote unquote public figure, it's interesting because it's funny because like I'll post like guy friends of mine in my story and stuff. And I remember like a year, not this past Halloween, but the 2021 Halloween, I posted like a carousel of pictures, and there were like one mutual guy that we know in one of my pictures, and then another guy also in the same picture. But one of them was like my main, like the front picture and stuff. And I used the hashtag, not my boyfriend. And it was like, I had so many like people, because people were like, obviously not everyone reads the captions, but they were like, oh, who are these guys in your picture? You know, like, oh, are these the like new boyfriends or something? But then other people did catch the hashtag or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, you just like broke these guys' hearts. But I mean, I just, you know, my intention is to, whenever that day comes, of course, I'm going to have that conversation with my person, but I personally believe that I am going to be out there, like whether it's on social media or on a TV show or something, or having whatever, like, I think that that's just in my nature to be in the spotlight. Like I'm
a public figure. So
I've wanted it since I was like 4 years old. I mean, I've wanted to be an actress since I was 4. I want to be like a dancer, a singer. Like I always just like wanted to do these like very big things. And anyways, but I'm like, I probably will want my husband to be okay being seen too. Like,
yes, it has to be reciprocated, like both ways.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the only way.
Like I'll respect, of course, if he's like, no, I don't want to be on your Instagram story. I don't want to be like, but I think it will, I don't know. Cause I'm like, well, I want to show you all. Like, I want people to know you know? So, and not like a ego thing. It's just like, I've been single for a freaking long time. And granted, I want my boyfriend, let's put it this way. I want my boyfriend to have pictures of me places. I want my boyfriend to be loud about me. Maybe that is egotistical. I don't care. But I do. I haven't had a guy post about me in freaking almost 10 years. It's about time.
So yes, you need that. Definitely. Do it, girl. And speaking of our friends that we both know, I think you two are so like, I just think that it should be just to put it out there. You know, so
that's right. That was our conversation when we were at 5 Faces.
You know, it's only right. You know, it's come to life. So I just think I want to put it out there.
Yeah. Well, you know, universe, divine timing and things, but we shall see. You know, I have my eyes open in so many ways right now. I mean, as you were mentioning earlier, like law of attraction and manifestation and everything, like that's exactly where I'm at. Like I just started a new job and I'm just like, wow, like all the people that I'm going to meet through this new opportunity, this new career and everything, it's just already just making me feel I'm vibrating at a different frequency already because of it.
Good. I love that. How are you liking your new job?
I love it. I do. I haven't like started doing my actual role yet. I've just been training the last few weeks, but I'm really enjoying it. Like I love, like, it's so as we were saying, like this self-discovery, right? Like I mean, 6-7 years ago, you would have asked me what I like to do for fun. And I'd be like, I have no idea. Go drinking with my friends, like get wasted. Like could have been my response. Now I'm like, well, let me tell you, I love reading. I love going for walks. I love painting. I love doing these things. Like I love socializing. But, there's a laundry list of things that I absolutely love, but it's because of this discovery, the self-love journey, the spiritual awakening that I've been on the last handful of years that has really allowed me to I have such a growth mindset that a lot of things that come into play, I'm like, oh, I want to learn more about that versus, I mean, granted, there are still some things like politics that I'm like, I do not care to learn about. Like, I mean, maybe I should learn some things, but I just I have no interest in it at all. So there's certain things that I don't, but like with my new job, like we're talking like legal matters, insurance, we're talking medical terms, like that stuff. I'm like, oh, I want to learn because I want to do really good I want to be really good at my job. So, and the only way to be really good at something is having the knowledge, because that gives you the confidence to be very good at what you're doing.
Yeah. So it's so funny you said that about like the legal terms and like that you're learning. So I'm in the legal field.
Okay.
And I'm in family law and and custody law. So
okay.
The job is interesting. I'm like learning every day, and I love that. Every day it's something different.
I'm sure.
And then I do like PR work for my kids. Like they have a commercial coming up with the Children's Museum. So in February, that's exciting. So they're like, their own little people. It's so cute just to see them blossom and all of that. But I just think it's so beautiful, like your story, and like you're still growing, and you may not have found like the love that you're looking for yet, but I know, like I feel it in my bones, like it's coming.
Oh yeah. I mean,
you are gonna, and it's just gonna be elevate you even higher.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I feel it like it's this year. Like I'm going to, or at least I'm going to get very, very close to my person this year. Like I'm actually going to date someone maybe a little bit, whether it's 4 months, 6 months, 9 months, something like that. I'm going to date someone. And if they're not it, they're going to be very close to the person. Like it'll be my, like, it's either it or it's my next to it person. I just feel it. I know it. Like I've had emotional
moment. Your mind believes what you fill it with. So fill it with faith, fill it with truth, fill it with life. Yeah, like absolutely. Just fill it, and you're gonna meet that person. Like I know that person's coming, and it all starts with believing it, and I trust in the journey of happiness. That's why, like, you were saying about like share, like you would love to be over like your partners, like all over their social media and everything. Like that's what makes you happy, right? So great. Your partner's gonna do that because that makes you happy. That's how like you found that one. Because they're gonna do things just because that makes you happy.
Right.
And
correct.
That's how you're gonna feel secure and safe in that relationship. And one thing that I've learned, like through all of this, like being in a relationship and like self-healing, is like you can never stop working on yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know.
Because I feel like when I'm not learning or when I'm not like working out helps. Like I'm always I work out every day. But that helps, like endorphins, like it fills my mind with dopamine. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, like let's go, and like then you start spreading that, like, and the people around you feel it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like you always continue to work on yourself. Like that's so important.
Yeah. Is there anything that you are incorporating in this new year, that you haven't done before, but that is a self-improvement tool that you've incorporated?
So before the COVID, it's funny you asked that, Kelly, because before the COVID happened, like they had the pandemic and all that, I actually had like my own business that was fairly successful. It was a small business, but I did high end facials, like semi-permanent makeup and like a brow lamination and all that. Because I love brows. I feel like that shapes the face. It's like, you know, and I love making women and men feel good about themselves. So like I had my little shop there in Buckhead. So yes, right now I'm working on another product, another business venture. So that's in the works for this year, as well as like getting another book published, and this will be like a hardcover book. So that's what's helping me to like, and the business venture is something new, like that I've never done before, but it's going to make me feel good about making people feel good, because I really want to make people feel good, and then in return, it reflects, on yourself. Yeah. Now, also, I want to share this too, Kelly, what I learned, and I didn't learn this till like after I became a mom. Like as women, we're always giving to this friend, giving to this friend, giving to this guy friend, giving, right? Everything. When we forget to give to ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we wonder why we feel empty, why we feel depressed, why we feel like mentally just out of it. Like we have nothing more to give because we were so busy giving our energy away that we weren't getting anything in return.
Totally.
So you kind of have to, as a woman, especially you in like, the industry of like entertainment and being a public figure, like never forget to like put some time aside for you. You know what I mean?
100%. Yep.
Whether it be positive words or you going to the restroom for pep talk in the mirror on yourself, Yeah. I know people think I'm crazy, but I'm all about affirmations. Like you go, you talk to yourself in the mirror, you're that person that you're living with every day, like inside that skin.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I've been practicing the like Miracle Morning Lifesavers concept since I read the book, The Miracle Morning, like 2018, I think. It's like a morning practice. And if I have 5 minutes in the morning, or if I want to sleep in, I'm like, fine, I'm going to like do at least 5 minutes of this. Like I have to pour into my cup first. And that is you giving to yourself first thing in the morning, and then throughout the day, because you're throughout the day probably giving to everyone else. And then coming home, obviously I'm not a mother yet, but I have so many things going on, and I'm like, I don't even know how I would be a mom right now. Like kudos, to you and all of the moms out there. Like that's a lot. It is a lot, but I have a mom, she's not had, she's still alive. I have a mom, and I saw her, she was very disciplined, with her like self-care all the time. I mean, she would get up and work out at 4 o'clock in the morning before she had to go teach kindergartners all day, and get my sister and I ready for school and everything. Like she was disciplined. She had boundaries, and like there were times, obviously, like I think I asked her this like a year ago. I was like, in the event that you didn't get up early before us, and now we're awake and stuff, and maybe it was like a Saturday or whatever. She was like, or before we were going to school, and she said, oh, I just I would put you in your room and be like, go play, go color, go do something. Mommy's going to work out, or I would have you work out with me. And that was like, there was no other, like she was dedicated. And that was how she was able to give to herself every day, was her working out and, reading her personal development books too. But I mean, we all just make excuses. You are important. I mean, all the moms out there, I say this with love, like you are so important. Like you have got to drop the story that self-love is selfish, because you are doing your, you're not only doing you, but you are doing your children and your family a disservice by not giving it, by not pouring it to you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a beautiful story of your mom. Like that's a beautiful, person to look up to. Like she really set the standard for you and your sister. Like, wow, how amazing is that? Because now you're going to be doing that, you know, when that time comes, you know, and you do that already, but and you look beautiful, by the way, because I see like your fitness journey and your wellness journey and like whatever you're doing, like, what are you doing to like, for self-love, to feel good, to, you know, continue to go?
Yeah, I mean, besides that, like, so the lifesavers concept from the Miracle Morning is like doing like a meditation or like breathing, sitting in silence, even like it could be that, listening or writing or saying out affirmations, doing a visualization. I have this one visualization I have been doing for like the last year and a half. Like, it's just something on YouTube. YouTube's my like go-to resource, but I do a visualization that takes me through like my dream house, my dream partner, like the relationships with friends, my career, like kind of like this, like picture perfect, getting into it, feeling it. And it sets you up the first like 6 or 7 minutes of the video. It educates you on what a visualization is and how you actually create and manifest. Right. So I've just been doing it forever. And then it goes into exercise, reading, and journaling. So I write out my gratitude in my journal. I read usually it's a personal development self-help book. I'm actually reading a book called Getting the Love You Want, a book for couples. It's like a relationship book for couples, but it teaches you a concept called the imago therapy, which helps you identify basically the template that you grew up with. Like, we're all programmed in a certain way. And the reason why we attract who we attract is because of the template. We say, you know, maybe we don't want someone that is like our mom or our dad, but then we are attracting someone who is indeed like our mom or our dad, like the behaviors that we don't like, right? We attract it because subconsciously we're programmed, and energetically we haven't healed or shifted or changed that emotion, that energy. So then we're attracting that. Anyway, so it sets you up to learn how to create a new template for yourself, and actually how to communicate with your partner and hold space for them and validate and acknowledge emotions, thoughts, feelings, that kind of thing. So anyways, I'm just reading it. A friend of mine who is in a relationship, she sent it to me because she was like, I know that it's a book for couples, but like it teaches you so much of yourself, about yourself. So I've been reading that lately, but I do a lot of stretching, yoga, and I go for walks. Walking is my like nature is my spirituality. Like, I love going outside. I'm not like, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm not talking on the phone. I'm just like, phone's in my pocket, and I'm just walking around a neighborhood. I'm looking at the trees, I'm looking at the squirrels, hearing the birds, looking at all the flowers. And I'll stop at like people's yards and like smell the flowers. I really am a stop and smell the flowers kind of person. Stop and smell the roses type of person. But I do a lot of that. But outside of the physical things, you know, I've like, boundaries has been that is probably one of the biggest self-care, self-love tools that you'll ever implement, is boundaries. I mean, in your career, I mean, if you're working 15-hour days, you're not doing it right. Like, you need to implement some, like, we have to understand the masculine and feminine energy. If we're constantly in the doing, constantly in the do, go, our health and other areas of our life are impacted.
Yeah.
So we got to get into the feminine of the being, the resting, the, you know, maybe the flow, the creation, the receiving mode of things. So you've been doing all day, now come home and receive. A lot of women in general, you know, we've been programmed by men to be in this go, do, right? But we're women still, we're in this creative, we need to be in our feminine. But a lot of like really strong, empowered, powerhouse, driven women are in that like boss mode all day, right? They're in this like CEO mode, boss mode all day. And then they come home, and let's say they are, you know, they do have a partner, they're still in that boss mode when they get home. And the man, should they be in a relationship with a man, it can create a lot of conflict, because he's then not able to be in his masculine. And now we have too masculine, and that just don't work. So
and it's so funny that you bring up that topic, because that was something that I was speaking about with one of my girlfriends, like how that is so important to know your role in the relationship. Like you were saying, masculine, feminine, you can have 2 alphas. You know, one's going to have to be, and then one's going to have to kind of like, you know, just, you know, be submissive in a way. You know, of course, the respect and all that still is going to be there, and the love. But that's going to bring division if you have those two things colliding all the time. So that's why it's like, you know, getting along and like being loving and being united, like as like a group, as a, like a partnership, like you have to be united with that person. That's how you're going to go like far.
Yeah.
You know, it's together. And you're right, in the, you know, modern world and how we live today, because women are having to, you know, CEOs and, you know, making more than men now. And, you know, they have to be masculine, right? You know, because they have that stepping stool that, you know, kind of like plateau they're on now. And you have to like know when to turn it off. Like, so this is what I did. I did have my own business. I was doing all that. I took my foot off the gas to take care of our children, to be a mom and to raise our children. You know, my son 2, my daughter's 3, right? You know, and I tapped into more of my femininity, like during that time. Yeah. And, you know, away from that modern day woman. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take care of the home. I'm going to take care of our children. I'm going to take care of myself, you know, and let him continue to rise to the occasion. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, but now, you know, mama's back, sweet mama. I'm back. And my foot is not coming off the gas now. But, you know, you do, as a woman, you cannot stop, you know, just like being feminine is a good thing. That's what makes us women. That's what men want. Like, you know, make a man feel like a man. Like, oh, well, like if he wants to provide and, you know, be the security and, you know, you feel safe with him. Oh, well, let him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Women, you have to do that. Like, that's why you're seeing a lot of single women that are just in their career.
Absolutely.
You know, because men are scared. Like, men are scared to do stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there is. That is so true.
And like, you are like, I just can't believe you're like tapping into this right now, because it's like, that's the world we're living in today.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I started learning about the masculine and feminine in 2018. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I hired my first like mindset coach at the end of 2018, because she was the one that was like talking about that stuff. And I was like, what is this? It was like speaking to a part of me that I had never discovered before. And I was like, something is landing and I don't know what this is. I don't like, but it feels different in my body. Like my body felt like, interesting. We want to learn more about this. So yeah, I've just been like, and considering I was like, you know, years prior to, I was in like such burnout and everything, like learning more about that masculine and feminine energy was just so incredible to learn about. And I find myself, you know, over the last few years, I've been in and out of like 9 to 5 and on, you know, working for myself and then back into 9 to 5 world. And, you know, I know when, like, I will not succumb to the burnout culture ever again. But I'm hyper aware, even when I wasn't working for anyone and I was working for myself, there were days that, you know, I was like doing a lot of things. And then I'd sit on my couch for 30 minutes. I was like, Kelly, you should be doing something. And it was like, that's the programming. Like, we're always in this, like, well, we should be doing something. We feel
like you feel like you have to be doing something. Like if you feel like if you're just laying there and just taking a few minutes to be mindful,
right,
you feel like you're doing something wrong. Because like you have to be on you have to be on your phone. Like that's what I'm saying. Like social media is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of, I mean, I know it's affected my mental health multiple times. I mean, so that's why I have that's why I have the time limit on my phone too. So, and no notifications are turned off, but it's
so what helped too, Kelly, is like doing like a detox from social media, where I literally spent 2 weeks off of social media.
Awesome.
Because I really needed to retrain my mind, figure out what the heck was going on. Yeah. Like in this world where you can be anything, be kind, right? Yeah, like be kind, because there's just so much ugly in the world. Like let's be loving. Let's spread light.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like good topics like this today. Like I feel like we really hit some great points. together. And, you know, I hope this reaches millions of different women and people just going through toxic relationships, needing to find like the light of what direction to go. Pick yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, pick yourself and invest in yourself, because you're never going to let yourself down.
Absolutely.
You know, and if that person feels wrong, 10, you know, yeah, 1 out of 10, they're probably wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Well, I've loved having you on. I know that you and I could talk forever. We'll do that at the next gathering at our I'm sure. But tell people where they can find you. I know you also have a YouTube channel, so yeah, tell us all about it.
Oh, thanks, Kelly. You're so sweet. So yes, do subscribe to Kelly, because they could subscribe to your podcast and your Instagram, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then they could definitely find me. My name's Bianca, Sweet Mama Lifestyle. That's 3 words, Sweet Mama Lifestyle. And they can find me on YouTube. That's also my blog on Facebook, and Sweet Mama Lifestyle on Instagram. Now, I do have a business page, The Fabulosity Beauty, but of course I'm rebranding, because I have another great, amazing goodies coming for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'll get you on it, Kelly, don't worry. You know, in this second quarter coming up. But yes, I'm excited for everybody to just put themselves first. You know what I mean? Like, us as women and even men, we're always giving. Give to yourself now. You'll never go wrong with choosing yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, self-improvement is so important. And, you know, remember, we're living in an ever-changing world, so you're going to evolve.
Yeah.
You know, we have a past, we have a present, we also have a future, but I'm all about, what are you doing now for your future, right? That makes the big difference.
Absolutely.
Because I was always so ashamed of my past. Not anymore. Like, I'm at the stage right now where you're living in purpose. We're all living in purpose. Like, I accept I have flaws.
Yeah.
Like, you know, which that's another conversation for another day with you, which I know we'll get to, but, you know, it makes a person who they are to have those trials and tribulations that they've gone through. Like, really. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yay, it was so nice to speak with you. I loved our conversation. This was so awesome.
Thank you for being a guest and sharing your story, and, you know, creating that ripple effect out there to help other women and humans in general just become a better version of themselves. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay. And you guys take care. Remember, gratitude.
Yes.
Like, that's helped a lot, is like gratitude, being thankful, and tell someone you love them today.
100%. Yes. If you loved this episode, please download, share, rate, and review. If you are ready to step into that next level version of you and grow your business and bank account, it's time to unleash your goddess magic and chase life with Kelly. You can start this epic expansion journey by diving into the Goddess Magic course bundle found at chaselifetogether.com. Please connect with me on Instagram at Chase Life with Kelly. Join the Chase Life with Kelly Facebook community and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till next time, create the life you crave, babe, and chase life with Kelly.